marker light, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. It is the proper color of amber. My mirror, all brackets, or all bolts are in place. It is properly mounted and secured. My lenses are clean, free of debris or stickers. My door opens and closes properly, as it should. My weather seal around my door and the frame are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. And my hinges are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My steps, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. No foreign objects or debris. That would be a slipping or tripping hazard. My fuel tank, properly mounted and secured. The straps are tight, the rubber seals are in place. It's not cracked, damaged, or loose. It is not leaking. I see no leaks and I smell no diesel fuel. My cap is secured, and on the inside I have a chain and a rubber grommet. My catwalk, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. No foreign objects or debris. That would be a slipping or tripping hazard. My drive shaft, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My exhaust system runs right beside my drive shaft. It's properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. No signs of soot, which would indicate that I had a leaking exhaust system. My torsion bar, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. All bolts are in place. My front and rear leaf spring hanger, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My leaf spring itself is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My U-bolt, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. All of my bolts underneath are present and tight. My shock absorber, top and bottom mounts, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. The shock absorber itself is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and it is not leaking. My air line that runs to my brake chambers, properly coupled, not worn, torn, or frayed. I hear no audible leaks. My air chamber itself, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. The band and clamp is tight around the air chamber and it is not leaking. My rotor brakes and disc are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. And my pads are not worn dangerously thin. The tire, minimum 2/32 tread depth on rear tires. Overall condition, no abrasions, no bulges, no cuts, and I would check my inflation with an air gauge. My rim, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. No illegal welds. My lug nuts are all present, none are missing, none are loose. A sign of a loose lug nut would be shiny threads or rust runs. My axle seal, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Filled to the proper operating level and it is not leaking. My airbag, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Top and bottom air mounts are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My airbag is not leaking. My mud flap, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My DOT reflective tape is all present, clean, clear. My mud flap, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, the proper height from the ground. My brake lights, tail lights, turn signals, and reflectors are all properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and they are the proper color of red to the rear.